If you haven't used NotebookLM before, you are missing out on a tool that creates interactive podcasts, study notes, and practice questions all for you for free. When I'm trying to learn a new topic, the last thing I want to be doing is reading a whole bunch of text and documentation and notes and all this kind of stuff to collate in my head. So Google's actually come out with this tool called NotebookLM that uses AI to collate all that information, but then actually give it to you in a really usable and user-friendly way. So this is really useful for anyone studying full-time, or even those that are just trying to learn some new information for their job, side career, or any other interests. So in this video, it'll be short and sweet. I'll show you how to get set up with NotebookLM, and you can upload your own custom references for sources of information, and it will allow you to create custom podcasts, study notes, and practice questions, again, all for free. So what you need to do is come over to NotebookLM. A simple Google search will show that up. It'll be either of these top two links. So once you come onto here, you will have to log in, log in with a Google account, and then you'll be all sweet to go. So it does say here that I've got the NotebookLM Plus version, but that's just through the business email that I have. But you can do this completely for free with just a Google account as well. So what we're going to do is go over here and go create new, and we'll be prompted here with the knowledge screen. So right as we create this, we want to upload a lot of knowledge. We don't want to just grab everything from the internet. We want to actually be specific on what knowledge we want it to talk about. So the really cool thing here is you can actually upload a range of different sources, whether that's a PDF, a YouTube video, website, hook into Google Drive, etc. So any kind of content that you have can all be chucked in here and used, which is really cool. For this example, I'm going to be doing NCEA Level 3 Physics, the electricity exam, and I'm going to go quickly grab some sources to chuck in here. So if I search up NCEA Level 3 Physics Study Guide, I'll come down to No Brain Too Small, Electrical Systems, and there's these big notes here. And it's a 34-page PDF document, and I want to use this as a knowledge source. So I'd go down there, go download, save, that goes there. And that's all sweet, it's just that there as well. Another one I want to use is maybe even just the Wikipedia page for electricity. That's one website we could find, we could hook that in there. Oh, wrong one there. So I'll go over to the website, click the link, and because I've copied it from here, Control C and Control V in here, so we'll insert that in. We'll also go to add and then add in other data source, which was here. We can drag and drop that as well, which is our PDF. And then I had a little Google and found a YouTube video here, an hour-long YouTube video.
In this video, I'll be going through my notes on NCEA Level 3 Electrical Systems.
And I'm going to copy and paste that in here as well. This one, close that one. We'll add, and we'll go YouTube link and paste the link in there. So now I've got the whole Wikipedia page, I've got an hour and 10-minute video, and I've got a 34-page PDF all in my notebook here. And as you can see, it will go away and create a little kind of summary of what the information is. And that is all good, all ticks, beautiful. So now what we can do is come over to the right, and we can see we've got this little audio overview section here. So you can go into customize and get it to focus on specific things. So if there's certain parts of the exam or the content that you really want it to focus on, you can add that all in here. For now, we're just going to leave this blank, and we're going to click generate. And so then that will go away, look at all the sources, collate all that information, and then actually make an audio podcast from that. The really cool thing I want to show you as well is that you can actually join them. And so while they're speaking, you can join in and ask them a question about a topic, and they'll actually respond to you in live real time, like you're actually part of the podcast. So that might take a little while, a couple of minutes usually, so we can go down here and look at the notes section as well. So you can add your own custom notes in here, but there's also 4 custom made ones based on the knowledge sources you've put in. So one of these is study guide, so if we click that, it's going to generate, there's going to be a briefing doc, FAQ, and a timeline that will all generate now. These will be a lot quicker than the audio, and we'll go from here. So we'll go to this very top one here. So this is a very brief overview by the looks of it of all of the information combined. One of the cool thing here is you can also see the source and where it's getting it from these three, so you kind of know where it's coming from, which is very important. And so that's a summary of all of the 3 bits of information, and yeah, really cool. Next one, we can go down and look at this one. That looks like the same thing I think I just clicked on. Core concepts explained. Where are the frequently asked questions? There we go. So here is the questions. It doesn't label it very well, unfortunately, but from all of this information, it has now created a quiz that you can actually take. So you can go through, define the electric current and state and SI units, and explain historical reasons, all of that kind of stuff based on the information in the podcast and that you've provided it, which is a good way of checking your own knowledge, which is very cool. And then last one might be the timeline one. This is some other questions in here. That's the fundamentals. And here's a timeline one. So if it's looking at historic data, anything obviously that has a timeline, it can create this timeline of events, and so you get the whole outline of how electricity came to be and the innovations in the whole field as it goes along, which is really cool. So that's all done. This is still waiting, so I will be back once this is done. That only took another minute, I think, to generate, and we've got a full 28-minute podcast based on the information we've provided. So we'll go ahead and play and have a little listen.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something huge, electricity. It literally powers everything.
It really does. And we've got some great sources lined up. YouTube.
There's a bit of an intro there, but I'll skip through to see if it starts talking about some actual topics.
They're one after another. Single path. Okay. Total resistance is just R1 plus R2 plus R3 and so on. More obstacles in the lane.
But parallel, that always felt backwards to me. You add more resistors in parallel and the total resistance goes down.
It does seem counterintuitive at first, but think about those highway lanes again. Parallel resistors are like adding more lanes.
So even if some...
So that's a really cool example that I've actually just clicked on, the resistance of electrical flow between parallel and series, which is quite a conceptual thing to get your head around when you're first learning about it, and it's actually done a really cool example of thinking about it as highways. So that's really cool. And so then you've got this whole 28-minute podcast that you can listen to, but there is this interactive mode which is in beta that you can actually go in and join. So if we go here, we'll see how this works. So we can go here, press play, it will start speaking, and then we can click join and ask the questions. So we'll give that a go.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something huge. Electricity. It literally powers everything.
It really does. And we've got some great sources lined up, YouTube lectures, detailed summaries.
Yeah, a real mix. Our goal here is, well, to unpack the core ideas, make it all clear, maybe spark some aha.
Oh, hey there, how can we help?
How do you calculate the voltage in a circuit?
That's a great question. It really depends on what you know about the circuit.
Exactly. One of the most fundamental ways, as our source material mentions, comes from the relationship between energy and charge.
Okay, let's unpack this. Voltage, symbolized as V, can be thought of as the energy measured in joules divided by the charge measured in coulombs.
So if moving 1 coulomb of charge between 2 points requires or releases, say, 10 joules of energy, the voltage between those points is
So that's just a really brief example, so you can ask it questions on the data and it will come back and give you answers for them. So it's a really cool use case. It's really good for any kind of study, and even if learning about AI, you can go find some resources online, chuck them all in here. There's a new thing like MCP or agent to agent, any kind of thing around that. Chuck all the sources in here, have an interactive podcast, and it's actually a lot easier to learn than just reading about things. So if you found that useful, flick me a subscription, give a video a like, let me know in the comments. I post heaps of stuff around AI tools, so yeah, hope you found that helpful. Have a good one.